river there was a sister off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, because of the wonderful things he does. The wizard was a fraud. It wasn't no damn wizard. It was some dude standing behind a curtain pulling the strings. And society tells us that I was going to make it political. The assertion is that one does not justify the means if you're not a carpetbagger. I don't know. What's poppin', everybody? It's your old pal, Boogie Bob. Did you see the thumbnail? I went to put the show up and it was OJ Simpson again, so I just grabbed a picture from there. That's from 1981 or 82. Me and my boy Jeff Bablavi. I was a manager of a movie theater. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but sometimes I really wish I was a kid again. It says I have one person in here. It's just me and Sugar Bay. That's it. It's like a romantic dinner. Just me and Sugar Bay and no one else. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Sugar Bay, you and I. Just the two of us. Making castle. Oh, Stephanie's here now. So it's just the three of us. We can make it if we try, just the three of us. Sugar Bay, Stephanie H, and I. What's poppin', Stephanie? How are you? God bless you. There's 4 people in here. Guys, so it was raining. It was horrible. I got to get out and stretch my legs. I was at home counting money. It took me literally 7 seconds. I had $11. 1, 2, there was a 5 in there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was done. I was at home counting money. I don't know what I'm going to do with my 11 bucks. 11 bucks in New York got me this paper. And I think I can have a taco from Taco Bell, if I get the small version. I don't know, am I on? Is this thing on? I got 4 people in there. I don't care. It's not going to stop me from giving you a shitty show. If I got 4 people or 4,000 people, you're still getting the same shitty show. I came out today because I wanted to, I talked about it yesterday a lot, and it's still bothering me. No sympathy for the devil. That's the old saying. But I do have sympathy for people and their family. What's up, Playboy? How are you? Good to see you.
You too, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. I do have sympathy for anyone who passes. You have children and people left behind, and unfortunately his legacy is one of murder. He lived his whole life, most of his life, as a really good, at least he appeared to be a really good, just person. Heisman Trophy winner. Huge football star. Became a huge television and movie star. Did you know he was in Inferno? One of those movies in the 70s where it came out where the building would catch on fire. Disco Inferno, burn baby, burn. Anyways, and then he was of course in the Naked Gun movies. And then he, a horrific, 1994, horrific double murder. OJ Simpson. And of course the headline, this is going to be the headline everywhere. No one's going to say father of 4, Justin, Sydney, yeah. Father of 4, beloved son, and that's gone. This is real killer is dead. And they're referring to the thing where he said he was going to dedicate his life looking for the real killer. Now, if the real killer played golf, he probably could have caught him. I can't imagine what would happen if him dying, all of a sudden we find out there was a different killer. You'd be like, oh shit, my bad. My best friend, one of my best friend's best friend was OJ. And he would tell me all the time, say, Bob, these guys treat him like trash. Yes, he gets the love, but this is OJ, who was the most loved icon of all time at the time. Now he gets people going, "You murderer! Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And OJ says, "Sure." You get in there like this. "I never took a picture with a murderer before." And he says they do that morning, noon, and night. Anyways, OJ Simpson dead at 76. Football actor, murderer. That's what the headline is. Football star, actor, murderer, liar, OJ Simpson. Can you imagine the priest? "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to say goodbye to a philanthropist, a father of 4, beloved son to his mother Myrtle, and a double murderer." You got the moniker sticks. Like my moniker is I'm known as the worst YouTuber. So whenever I die, they're going to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here to pay our last respects to a person who always said, please be kind and loving to each other. But he was also a pretty shitty YouTuber." Boogie Bob, dead at 125 years old. Found in bed with 3 Russian models. Female models. Some of them were female models. All right, I love you guys. It's not going to be a great show today. It never is. What do you want from me? I would like it if you guys care about me. Some of you say you do. Sugar Bay says she does, but I just need this phone number. It's important. I need to talk to her about an issue that's none of your business, to be honest. It's pertinent. Paulina. I got her name. Her name is Paulina something. Paulina Gretzky? That's Wayne Gretzky's daughter. She's looks like she's dating. Oh, she's married. So that almost takes her off the table. She's married. So I don't want her number still. Couldn't run from the double. So OJ did beat the trial. He did beat the conviction. He was acquitted of the double murder. It's strange that every single person in this picture, like Melvin Belli, what's this guy's name? Forgot. Oh, that's Effley Bailey. Effley Bailey, Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro. Over here is Kardashian. All dead. They're all dead. And then I heard that OJ, right before he died, was actually thinking about getting remarried. He said he was going to take a stab at it. Okay, that was horrible. I apologize. I am sorry about that. That was not funny. That was horrible. My friend, when OJ went in that car chase in the Bronco, my friend says, what does OJ Simpson and John Elway have in common? They're both a slow white Bronco. That's not that great. Not that great. We're not going to do the OJ Simpson stuff today. Listen, I believe in my heart, as a Christian, that I'll be judged when it's time to be judged. And you can fool a jury of 12 because you got highfalutin lawyers. You ain't gonna fool the one guy you gotta be atoned for. By the way, he was so desperate for money at some point, he did a book called If I Did It. If I Did It. Where he sat down and wrote a book with a ghostwriter, I'm sure. If I did it, here's how I would have killed her. I would have took a 12-inch hunting knife and then he went through the whole thing. If I did it. I was actually in a book called Letters to OJ. Letters to OJ. I was on my knees praying when the verdict came through. I don't know where you were when the verdict came through. I had been treated very poorly by the police in my days as a young criminal. And the first time I was arrested, the police officer said, if you confess, I said, sir, I have a job to get to. I have to be at work. It was like 3 in the morning. I have to be at work at 6 a.m. and I really need this job, sir. He goes, tell me you did it. You're out the door. I go, I did it. He goes, click, click. 3 months later, I was out the door. I lost my job. I made it in the paper. It was horrible. Point is, cops did me dirty many, many times. And I was, you know, I was in trouble a lot. But that's neither here nor there. They should have to play fair. And I believed at the time, and just to the extent, I'm going to get off the OJ thing, to the extent I believed at the time, as I watched the trial intently every second. Nobody watched more of that trial than I did. I promise you. None of you did. That's for fact. I owned my own business. I didn't leave the house for months. And then I would watch Nancy Grace, and I would go over to Larry King, because every show was OJ, OJ, OJ. I can recite the players all the way from Christopher Darden, anybody in that case. Anyways, I thought strongly that, yeah, it looked really bad for him. Got the cut on his finger. He was at Rockingham. Police found the glove behind his thing. But for every clue about him could be talked away. Did Mark Furman, the guy who said, I'm not a racist, I've never said the N-word in my life, and then they play a tape, a cassette tape of him saying N-word, 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 over and over and over again. That was the whole crux of their case. Once Mark Furman, who found the glove, was not only arrested and convicted of perjury during that trial, you guys don't remember that. Forget the DNA, forget the socks, forget everything else, the Bruno Maglio shoes. Just remember that Mark Furman was their big star witness. They had no idea, Marsha Clark had no idea, that when she put him on a stand and they said to him, have you ever been racist? No, absolutely not. When they played that tape, if you haven't heard it, that tape is horrific and horrible. Mark Furman is talking about how he hates N-words, and he would, so that was the case. Every juror there, especially the black juror, was like, got your ass. So that turned on that, but it was probably the most Shakespearean, real life thing that's ever happened on this planet. The twists and turns, the ups, the downs, the fact that it's one of the most biggest celebrities on the planet, and such a horrific crime captivated the world. And him dying left this huge hole in my heart, not for him dying, but for the childhood and the way I had perceived him as my childhood hero, someone I cared about, someone who's exactly where I'm from, someone who had the same struggles I did. I didn't have a way out with football. I had a way out with YouTube, and now I make $12 a month. Anyways, OJ Simpson, I will say it again, rest in peace. It's front page, this page, this page. If you want to know about it, it's going to be in every page. The must-see court drama, 1985 had it all. Top attorneys, the attorneys were the greatest in the world. I think Melvin Belli was actually called in with F. Lee Bailey, a racist cop. Cato Kalin, the good-looking pool boy, and of course, I think probably the most underlooked of everything was Ron Goldman. Ron Goldman was at Mezzaluna, a restaurant. He was a waiter there. And Nicole forgot her glasses. It was her daughter Sydney's recital. She forgot her glasses at the big event. So Sydney had it. Here's, just so you know, Sydney had a recital. And OJ went, but was not invited to the after dinner, which was Nicole, her sister, and her mother and father, and the kids. And they said OJ was very, very upset. He stalked her at her home, which he had done many times. And then when I think what happened was they called and said it was actually Nicole's mother's glasses. She had forgotten them, and Ron was kind enough to say, I'll take them over there. He got there, and unfortunately, he was murdered. Again, another 2 pages. We're on page 9, and every single thing is about OJ. We're on page 11. And then, of course, OJ's best friend was Robert Kardashian. You know him with the black-haired guy with the white swoosh. He was married to Kris Kardashian. Now, she ended up, after the OJ thing, she was actually dear friends with Nicole. She left Robert Kardashian and went with Bruce Jenner. That's why some of the Kardashian girls are Kardashians. Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney are Kardashians, and the Kylie and the other one, Kendall, are Jenners. I ain't gonna lie, Kim Kardashian, her mom, Kris Kardashian, makes some good ass babies. Pretty babies. All right. Let's get on with the news. We're on page 14, and the news shall start now. RFK. Guys, one of the king families of America is the Kennedy family. The father, Joe Kennedy, was a bootlegger and a very, very powerful man, went into politics. His son, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated in Texas. I was there. I wasn't there when he was assassinated. I was in Texas when he was assassinated. And they had another son, Bobby Kennedy, also assassinated by Sirhan Sirhan. But Bobby Kennedy had a son, RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is probably one of the most wacky, crazy, conspiracy nut jobs on the planet. He's a Democrat who's pulling for Trump. He also had because the alcohol runs in that family deep, he has a thing with his throat. It's almost hard to understand a word he says, but he's insane. He says that the COVID was invented to take out black people. And I got a lot of black friends that believe that. But this is a guy running for president. By the way, he's running against Biden. He's running against Biden. I think he got 11 votes, and 2 of them were from his wife and his son. A consultant for Robert Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign was axed after a video emerged of her suggesting his voters' #1 priority was to take down President Biden. Isn't your priority to take down the Republican? Call me crazy. Call me crazy. The guy's insane. If you watch any of his stuff, he's absolutely insane. If you get the jab, you're going to have a magnet stick to your arm. Shall we continue? Oh boy. Oh, Fox News is probably happy about this one. Look at this. Joyride on the Hudson. They're looking at him going, yeah, this is going to sell a bunch of shit to our viewers. Homeless migrant! They yell at him. Hi guys, we had a homeless migrant. He hijacks 2 vessels. This guy going for a joyride on the... I think usually when you hijack, it means you commandeer. I don't know if he was hijacking. Now he's really up the creek. A 22-year-old migrant was busted taking a historic fireboat on a wild journey down the Hudson River before getting stuck and hopping onto a sailboat. This guy's a movie waiting to happen. I can see Tucker Carlson now. Guys, did you hear about this? I told you they're taking over your jobs. Well, this guy thinks he's a ferry captain. He stole a ferry and rode out to... And guys, also, he was very close to the Statue of Liberty. Who knows what he could have done? Did he have a gun? I don't know, but he could have. I don't want to be one of those news reporters. Highway jump kills skier. Please don't tell me this guy thought he would be jumping. Highway jump kills skier. By the way, I had a lot of people get in the comments, not just on my social media, on my YouTube, but also with my Insta, my Facebook, about necklaces. So I think I have about 10 packages going out. I will answer each one tonight that won. There were several, okay? Thank you very much, guys. A 21-year-old daredevil skier was killed attempting what authorities described as a high-risk jump across the Colorado high school highway. Where's RJ when I need him? RJ, what are they doing in Colorado? First you got this this Lauren Boebert, and now you got a guy jumping highways on skis. His name is Dallas LeBeau. Cool name. He was found unconscious and not breathing Tuesday. Isn't unconscious and not breathing kind of like dead? It's horrible. Horrible. He was found unconscious and not breathing Tuesday after trying and failing to leap 40 feet over Highway 40 in Grand County. He wanted to do things that nobody else has done. They still haven't done it. He always said his birthday was the same day as Evel Knievel. Well, I don't think his death day was the same. His death day was the same day as OJ Simpson. So he's got a couple things going for him. Look at this, guys. My doppelganger. Back in the day, though. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. It's Richard Gere. Oh, he was the man back in the day, bro. Did you see American Gigolo? The story of my life, except the Gigolo part. I'm an American. Gene Simmons here, Richard Gere here with his wife, Alejandra Gere. Just chilling. You go ahead, Playboy. You ain't hating. I ain't hating on your hatred. Rapper in New York City, Polo G. Alright, just take it easy. When I talk about New York rappers and rappers that get busted in New York, I gotta keep it on the DL. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no beef. Sitting here talking shit, Method Man standing behind me? Polo G. Rapper Polo G was busted on gun charges when a maid at a swanky lower Manhattan hotel found a loaded Glock in his room. Taurus Bartlett. Uh-oh. I saw Mighty Bulls in here somewhere. The guy's name is Taurus. Taurus Bartlett. 25 was arraigned in Manhattan court on criminal possession of a weapon. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I don't think he did it. In fact, I know he didn't do it. I don't want no smoke. Look at this. That's a real friend. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Organ meat. Now, I went to an organ meat one time, but it wasn't what I thought it was. I was in college. What do I know? I like it already. Black dude, white dude. I think they did an organ thing. Russ Redhead. Which one do you think is called Russ Redhead? That's his real name. I don't think this brother's name is Russ Redhead. I don't buy it. I think it's this guy. Russ Redhead, the guy on the right, the white dude, got mad at James Harris Jr. over pool. They were playing pool. And but recently donated his kidney to his new best friend. So they were pool players. They had beef. But now he donated his kidney to the guy. He was a good friend to have in his pocket. The writer of this should be fired. Russ Redhead discovered James Harris Jr. needed a kidney while in competing for a pool tournament. He donated his organ to a former foe February 8th. Now, I donated my organ. James needed me to hold his hand, Redhead 42 said with a laugh as he recalled being rolled into surgery. So I reached out and said, "It's going to be okay, buddy." This guy gave his buddy a kidney. Now, if I tried to give a kidney to someone, they'd be like, "No thanks. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. My kidneys should be okay. How would you like to live in this building? You got to walk up the stairs. Excuse me, miss. Can you shoot your heroin over to the left so I can walk it? Look at this guy. I'm not judging. I'm just saying if you live there, this is, where do you think this is? Where do you think this is, guys? Anybody get in the comments? Tell me where you think, what city you think this is. I'll wait. I think the first person's going to guess. I'm not moving on till we guess. Nope, not LA. Very close. Not Boston. I'm going to give a clue. It rhymes with Philadelphia. Now, that's as much as I'm going to give you right there. That's all you're getting. It rhymes with Philadelphia. And, of course, Clara's right. It's Kensington. I think Kensington is Philadelphia. It's, you walk down the street, this is like the mailman. That's how bad it is out there. I don't know what's going on. It's horrible. I wish that God would come down to earth and just bless all the people that are addicted to stuff. I had my drug days. I didn't like drugs. I was very lucky. I have friends that do drugs and go, I like it. I go, oh, that's a problem. Forced out of his own home in a foul deed scam. Now, foul means, I'm sure it's going to be something to do with birds. This is how the Post does it. A Mississippi homeowner is living a squatter nightmare. These squatters, bro, they have more rights than the tenants. I think if you have a squatter problem, you hire a couple guys down the street with baseball bats, and that's all. I'll leave it there. You're going to hire a lawyer? Good luck. A Mississippi homeowner is living a squatter's nightmare after getting duped out of her deed and kicked out of her own house by a local judge. Marcia Naylor of Olive Branch was struggling with bills after her husband's death. She signed up with the company to borrow against her home so she could keep up her spiraling finances. Guys, I got a thing last night from Chase in my email. It said, hey, we just found your information on the dark web. You need to react to this right away. You know what I did? I hit delete. Don't trust nobody. If your mama sends you a letter and says, oh, Karina, I need you to send me $40. My car broke down. I'm with Dad and Uncle Jim. And you know she's with Dad and Uncle Jim, still don't trust her. Don't trust nobody. These scams on the internet are absolutely horrific. This woman thought she was going to get money to help her with her bills, and she ended up signing over her deed to her home. She had a judge label her a squatter and kicked her out of her own home. A Texas woman living in Belize. That's a country somewhere. Joe, where is that? It is north of Equator, south of Colombia. Belize has died after being hit in the head by a conch shell. That's horrible. Now, I don't know if the shell was thrown. Oh, I was going to say, if it fell off a tree, that's what you call act of God. Now, God, you get struck by lightning, it's considered called an act of God. Nobody's fault. This one got hit in the head during a fight. She died after being hit in the head by a conch, I don't know if it's conch or conch shell, during the fight that broke out when her husband crashed their golf cart. Jennifer Lynn Griffith, 46, was riding with her husband, Maynard Akonda, in San Pedro. He crashed the cart into the El Norte bar, leading into a fight with employees. At one point during the brawl, someone threw a conch shell at her, striking her in the head. The next morning, she seemingly was having pain. She went to the clinic where she succumbed to her injuries and died. Jim, back to you. That's the story in a nutshell. Okay, that was wrong. I apologize. This is called Tim Scott. I'm just gonna say that's Tim Scott. He's the one that openly said, "I love you, Mr. President." Tim Scott is a human being who we all should love. YouTuber guilty in Wisconsin river stab spree. Did you see this? It's everywhere. So the guy, they were rafting in someone's splash water or something. I'm going to get you the story in a second. And they literally got a couple bad cops right here. Hey, girl. All right. She looked right when I said, hey, girl, so I had to do the old look away. Hey, girl. This person stabbed several people. A Minnesota man was convicted on Thursday, and it was all caught on tape. You can watch the whole stabbing. I don't watch stuff like that, but you can watch it on YouTube. Just put Minnesota stabbing. I forget the name of the river, but I'll give it to you in a second. A Minnesota man was convicted on Thursday, for fatally stabbing a teen and attacking 4 others during a deadly water tubing brawl. A jury found Nikolai Mai guilty of first-degree reckless homicide, 4 counts of reckless endangerment, and 1 count of battery for the 2022 stabbing rampage that killed 17-year-old Isaac Schumann. Miu, 54, stabbed 4 people. 4 other people. He stabbed 5 people. I don't get it. In the Schumann group on Apple River, that's what you Google. Just type in Apple River, it'll come right up. The whole site, they have hundreds of websites, YouTubers putting it together. I thought, should I make a video on it? And I don't want to have that kind of thing going on. The defendant had claimed he was acting in self-defense after the group taunted him and accused him of being a pedo, you know what. A pedo, you know what. That would piss off anybody. He had reportedly told police that the group of young men and women between the ages of 17 and 24 had attacked him and claimed he was in self-defense mode. So he was getting jumped and he just started cutting. The man lashed out with a knife used for cutting ropes as the group surrounded and taunted him while he looked for a lost phone. He was looking for a phone in the river, that is a fact, with a snorkel. The St. Croix County District Court panel handed down the verdict after ruling out a more serious charge of first-degree murder, which is life in prison without parole. Alexander Martin, Carl blah blah blah, they were also stabbed during the fracas. Don't say fight, just say fracas. And Madison Cohen was also attacked. So he was an equal opportunity stabber. Guys, girls, it didn't matter. He wasn't age discriminatory. He faces more than 100 years in prison at his sentencing, which will be at a future date. 100 years in prison. Model in a brutal robbery. I know that's not the model. Is that the model? I don't know. I'm not going to say he's a robber because that would be discriminatory. I would be jumping the gun without the stuff. Let me see who he is. Is he the robber or the model? Get in the comments, guys. I don't want to profile the guy. Maybe he's the model. A New York model says he was left with a broken jaw and missing teeth during a brutal robbery outside a swanky Manhattan lounge. Now, guys, I have not read it, but I do all the swanky lounges in town. So I'm really hoping it's not one of mine. We'll see. They'll say, Cuba Gooding Jr. was convicted of sexual assaulting girls grabbing their boobs at 3 of my spots. He didn't do it at 1, he did it at 3 different spots, all 3 mine. Let's see if this is and now he plans to sue the night spot. Oh boy. Arguing security did nothing to stop the attack. This can't be one of mine because our guys would have stopped it. Adam Bird, 33, had just left. Oh boy. One of mine. Little Sister. Little Sister, we do, it's only open Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I've taken you there 3 or 4 times on my channel. It's one of the hardest clubs to get in. The guy who runs the door is Was. Was is a very famous doorman, #1 doorman in New York City. He also runs the door at Little Sister. I've had it since the day it opened. They are very, very strict on security over there. Now remember, these are just allegations. The guy is making a claim. I have no ownership in the club. I own the coat check in that club. But it's a very, very, I took you there several times and I actually showed you online how hard it is to get in. I get in because I work there. I own it. I own the coat check. But if you, any of us, walked up there, you're in a football huddle. It's like Studio 54. You're in a football huddle going, me? How about me, sir? Very, 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 very difficult to get in Little Sister. This happened at Little Sister. Adam Bird, 33, just left the East Village Little Sister Lounge with a pal on March 16th when a group of men punched, kicked, and beat him with a belt before snatching $35,000 necklace. He claims the bar bouncers refused to help despite being near. There's no way not to be near. It's right there on the street. Security is 3 feet from the situation and watched this happen with the belt and stomping to the face. The model and actor who said he was still rattled a month after the attack plans to sue the security staff and Tao Group. Hospitality, which owns Little Sister, for negligence. The Tao Group did not respond. Tao Group owns, in New York, 20 properties. I do 18 of them. There's only 2 I don't. And Lavo just closed, so 16 of them. All right, this is insane. Free to swing again. No bail judge lets nunchucks attacker go. You guys know what nunchucks are? It's a stick with a rope tied to the other. You flip it around, Bruce Lee. They will kill you. To have them, I thought was a felony, just to have them out in person. A nunchuck wielding nut job with a legendary rap sheet attacked a podcaster in Midtown. That's where I'm a podcaster. I'm in Midtown. He was promptly cut loose with no bail by a Manhattan judge. Guys, I know the jails are full, but you can't have a guy in Midtown swinging nunchucks at someone and let him go. That's insane. Cindy, Cindy is my manager / partner. She actually runs Little Sister. Cindy, without getting into detail, did you hear about this attack? It says it took place on March 16th. Cindy's here 4 nights a week. We're going to get the scoop from Cindy right here. Brown Ocean. I'm going to ask her right now, did you hear about this attack? And guys, it's okay. People file suits all the time. There's cameras every square inch over there. So believe me, there'll be plenty of footage of the incident that happened. Cindy, are you there tonight? And am I lying when I say how hard it is to get into that place? I'm not moving on until Cindy answers the damn question. Cindy is my heart. She is the backbone of my company and has been with me for many, many years. Yes, I think it was Friday night, Saturday morning. It probably was. I don't have... Cindy is there tonight. Cindy is telling you guys how hard it is to get in that door. Guys, you walk up. It is literally a football huddle, 10 people deep, standing at the entrance. And the guy literally goes, like if I work there. I own the coat check. So I walk up. He says, hey, Bob, come on in. But let's say I don't, and he's never met me before, I put on a suit and my old ass shows up there. Am I getting in, Cindy? I ain't getting in, bro. I get there at 12 o'clock. I'll be standing right there like, you look dead in his eye. You're like puppy dog standing there looking to get in, and he's just going to be like, sir, please, sir, yeah, miss, and they load it with really cute girl. That's just, most clubs are like that. But Ross runs the door. Yes, it's W-A-S-S. Well, anyways, they got a lawsuit pending, but that's not the only one, I'm sure. But thank you, Cindy. Sometimes I think my guys in here think I'm lying. Anyways, this guy's got nunchucks. He's swinging around at people. I'm assuming he's swinging at her. She's a Midtown podcaster. And he allegedly followed her, screaming, F you, I'm going to F you up and kill you. Her name is Kenyatta. Oh, no, Kenyatta is him. He has 12 prior arrests. He was put back on the street by Judge Marva Brown. Good job, Judge Brown. Yeah, Cindy will tell you, it's $2,500 just to get a table in there. If you walk in there, and let's say you're me, and I do get in, you go down and you stand in the corner like this holding a Heineken all night, because you can't sit down. You're going to stand like a bum. There's 12 bums like me standing in the corner drinking a Heineken. It's like a $12 Heineken, so you drink it really slow. Otherwise, if your leg hurts, go sit in the bathroom. I think they charge for that too. But yeah, you're not going to be able to go into any of these clubs. Lavo was the same, Tao's the same. You better have $2,500, then you can sit at the table and they'll figure it out for you. $100,000 bond was asked of this guy. The judge said, no, let him go. So if the guy goes out and reoffends, I think the judge should be held accountable. Cicadas are back. Do you guys know what cicadas are? So first of all, if you watched my show, you saw the lantern bugs we had last year. They're horrible, creepy. They're beautiful little bugs unless they land on you. They're back. But those are not the cicadas. Those are just some annoying ass lantern bugs. And then the news actually said, guys, if you see these, please stomp on them. Now you guys know I'm an animal and bug lover. I don't love bugs, but I'm not gonna stomp on none. And I'm with Bria, and we're holding hands, and she's out there stomping on bugs, bro. I might have broke up with her for stomping on bugs. Oh no, it said to on the news. I go, if it said to kick kittens on the news, would you go and kick kittens? She might. I don't know. But the cicadas are back. The cicadas are very, very creepy, and let me tell you why. These loudmouth bugs will soon be brainwashed horn dogs. The creepy, sexually transmitted fungus is expected to morph millions of cicadas into hyper-horny zombies. Guys, they sleep for 20 years. They crawl into a rock or a tree trunk. They go to sleep for 20 years, and they all wake up the same day. It's the craziest shit in the world. And they all want to... 20 years without... they're zombies. They hijack their bodies. Oh, it's a fungus that hijacks the bodies of these things in terms of... So the bodies are just dead. The fungus makes them walk around. They're real zombies. They hijack the bodies so they'll spread the infection to parts of the U.S. this spring. The horror movie-style fungus pathogen, it's called Massapora ciadina, will cause the insects to mate like crazy in parts of the Southwest and the Midwest as record numbers emerge from the ground. The fungus, it's a fungus among us, causes a white mass of spores. That sounds like BD, to be honest. It's a bug with BD. To burst out the insect's backside. Oh, those are anal warts. So I'm familiar with all of these diseases. What's next? Chlamydia? The fungus causes a white mass of spores to burst out the insect's backside, taking over their brains and making their genitalia fall off. Now that's what happened to me in college. And they act as puppets. These fungus act like puppet masters for these poor bugs that get hijacked, sending a flood of adrenaline to help males pose as females. Those are transsexual bugs now. I'm going to read this whole thing back so you can follow. Overall, less than 5% of the trillion cicadas expected to emerge will likely be infected. This is frightening. Why has no one done a movie called Cicadas? You got Jaws and you got Tarantula, you got rats. Why not cicadas? I'm going to read it again without the jokes, and you tell me how frightening and crazy this is. Zombie cicadas soon to rise. These loudmouth bugs will soon be brainwashed horn dogs. A creepy, sexually transmitted fungus is expected to morph millions of cicadas into hyper-horny zombies by hijacking their bodies so they'll spread infection all over parts of the U.S. this spring. The horror movie-style fungus pathogen called Masopora ciadina will cause the insects to mate like crazy in parts of the Southwest and in the Midwest as record numbers emerge from the ground. The fungus causes a white mass of spores to burst out the insects' backsides, taking over their brains and making their genitalia fall off. It then acts as a puppet master, sending a flood of adrenaline to help males pose as females to pass the infection through sex. So, I'm almost done. Overall, less than 5% of the trillion of cicadas are expected to emerge. So the dude cicada, it's bad enough they're already zombied out, but the zombie tells some of the dudes, yo, Jim, tonight you're Susan. You're going to go over there, put on some high heels, and you're going to seduce some dudes who are then going to catch what we giving them. It's a hodgepodge of, it's almost a romance novel. There's sex, and there's adventure, there's transsexuals, there's all kinds of zombies. This is a movie I would pay for. That's pretty creepy. Get in the comments, guys. What do you think? FBI boss, I've been seeing this all over the news, which means it may or may not be true. They are expecting ISIS to attack in the U.S. They are also expecting Iran to attack Israel. If we ain't got enough crap on our plate right now. Hi, Rev. God bless you, Rev. All right. Did you hear about this guy? This guy. Ladies, I'm a woman. He went into Planet Fitness. By the way, if you guys want to join a gym, gyms in New York are hundreds of dollars a month. You can maybe get one for $50 or $60 if you find a smaller gym. Go to Planet Fitness. It's like $20, $25. But this guy showed up in a female locker room. 15 naked women in there. He went in there completely naked and says, hey, I identify as a woman. A Planet Fitness member in North Carolina allegedly entered a ladies' locker room at the gym and stripped down completely naked, claiming that he identified as a woman. And there were several calls to 911. Christopher Miller, 38, was arrested on a charge of indecent exposure and booked into the Gadsden County Jail. $1,500 firearms on flyers in 24. More than 1,500 guns were confiscated by the transportation. Guys, these are the airplanes. You guys want a guy going on an airplane with a gun? 1,500 were caught last year. Now there's millions and millions of flights. I'm sure some might have slipped through, but 1,500. Shout out to the MTA. Joe shuts down a gun show. It's a loophole. I've been saying these gun shows, guys, I'm a Second Amendment guy, have a gun if you want. It is a shame when we have 300 million Americans and we own 600 million guns. That's 2 per person. And most of us don't even own them. So some of them own 85. My dad was a hero in the paper back home in Fairfield, California, when his friend, I won't give names, but his friend, long dead now, he couldn't hear. He had no hearing. But he was an avid gun collector. He had at least 300 or 400 firearms in his home. The police showed up for something and knocked on the door, and they could hear him moving around in there, but he couldn't hear. He was a nice man. And the police showed up and saw all the guns, turned around, and then it became a hostage situation. And my dad was the one they called to come over and get him out of the house. My dad was a hero. He was a hero in Korea, he was a hero in Vietnam, and he was a hero in Fairfield, California, where he saved his friend from being shot and killed by the police. I'm going to keep it moving. Oh boy, look at this. Crash kills cyber whiz. Upper East Side hacker 30 is hit by a US SUV. You know how smart you have to be a cyber whiz? A hacker who can go do all that? A young cybersecurity research firm founder has died after she spent several days fighting for her life after being struck by a speeding SUV on the Upper East Side. God bless her. Sophie D'Antoine, 30-year-old founder of Margin Research, died on Friday, 3 days after being struck by a speeding SUV, a Land Rover. I hope that the Land Rover was driven by a 72-year-old man. He also hit a taxi head-on. He hit a taxi head-on, and then the vehicle careened and hit her. Okay, I covered this on the show yesterday. It's very tragic. It was about the grandmother who was killed by her own car. It rolled over on top of her. An 87-year-old Brooklyn woman, this is a follow-up to the story yesterday, was run over by her own car Wednesday. She had been praying in the vehicle in her driveway right before the deadly accident. I hope that God said, I hear your prayer, and took them into his beloved arms. Joan Behan, a grandmother of 10 and a devout Christian, had just returned home from a workout, stepped out of her blue 2013 Toyota Corolla after she finished her routine and her prayers. Tragedy struck as she was walking behind her car, which she never put into park. The car rolled back over her, crushing her in Gravesend Avenue. She suffered severe head torso trauma. The octogenarian, octa means 8. She's an 80-year-old something, 87-year-old woman. Was very active, healthy, and sharp, and went to the gym multiple times a week. Bless her heart. Said her 60-year-old son, before the accident yesterday, she just came home from a 2-hour workout. She stayed in the car in the driveway for about 20 minutes praying for people. Go ahead, Grandma. Leave this earth doing wonderful works. Okay, I'm gonna have trouble. I might cry during this one. I'm very happy to announce they busted the guy who mugged the lady, the church mugging. I don't know if you saw it. The lady walks up 5 steps. She's walking up from the street, up her church. She gets to the top steps and some kid runs up, grabs her, and throws her backwards onto the concrete and then robs her purse. They have busted this piece of garbage. I hope he does 100 years in prison. A 16-year-old boy, which means he's out probably already, was arrested Thursday for shoving a 68-year-old woman down a flight of steps on the Queens Church. The video is horrific. Horrific. Brooklyn's seen it. She's walking up the steps. He grabs her, he runs up behind her, grabs her at the top of the steps, and throws her backwards. She lands like this is the ground. She lands like this. I can't imagine, I can't believe she wasn't killed. Then as she's laying there, he's rifling her pockets and takes her purse. The teen was hit with several charges, including robbery and assault over the early Sunday attack. The woman's walking into a church, bro. Surveillance video of the crime shows a young man pushing the victim, identified by family as Irene, Tatian Boris, down the steps. While she was on the ground, he stole her purse with her keys, and he cruised away in her 2006 Nissan. What a piece of garbage this little guy is. We're almost done. Guys, when I got up this morning, it was torrential rain. Did you see this? This is the dean's wife. I think they're in Berkeley, I'm not sure. And they had a barbecue or something. It looks like she got her hands, looked like somebody put hands on her. This young woman got up and she crashed the party and started spouting off about what's going on in the Middle East. And listen, I can't blame her for being upset and stuff, but I don't think you go to the dean's house. And I think any time's the right time to speak out, but you shouldn't run into a church and spout out about what's going on. If you get a camera in front of you, you want to talk about your views, that's fine, but I don't think this was the right thing. On the last day of Ramadan, a UC Berkeley law professor assaults a hijabi. So a hijabi is this young woman here, and there's a UC professor's wife, and there she is assaulting her. On the last day of Ramadan, UC Berkeley law professor assaults a hijabi. She's a law professor. I think her husband was like the dean. I'm not doing that. Did you see this? We're on page 31. We got a good story. Everybody at home, call your loved ones. Found regards. Look at this. That is palm leaves. They were stuck and stranded, and somebody said, let's go get some leaves and write help on the sand, and they did it, and they were rescued. Palm plea help save stranded 3. It's going to be raining horribly in a few minutes. It's a modern-day castaway. 3 stranded boaters were rescued from a remote Pacific island this week thanks to their clever help sign spelled out in palm fronds. Whatever a frond, I guess that's a leaf. The men were fishing off the Picolat Atoll, which is part of the Micronesia, on March 31st when their 20-foot boat was overtaken by swells. Their outboard motor was damaged. The men were forced to abandon ship. Once they made it to the uninhabited island, however, the group's radio ran out of battery. They didn't plan very good for this thing. Despite their desperate situation, they were able to come up with a viable alternative plan spelling help with the large palm fronds on the island's sandy beach. Coast Guard. It says here, meanwhile, the other guy said he had one on the other side of the island that said, need weed. I don't think they rescued him. He need weed. Alright, we're going to keep it moving. Hey, guys, I always talk about my video of my birds. Today's your lucky day because we are going to show you the birds. Also, we're going to have new merch finally in the shop. This is the shirt I designed last night. It is Subscribe to Kindness. That's a Boogie Bob exclusive. I'll talk to Rev and we'll see if we can get these up by the end of the week. We'll have them in white and we'll have them in black. And every size available. But I want to show you this. I hope that you enjoy this for the next several minutes.
In Central Park, We have hundreds and hundreds of birds.
These are some of my bird
species and
pics.
varieties that come through Central Park every year, and I've taken pictures of many. I hope you enjoy.
That's a Baltimore Oriole. There's a bunch of baby sparrows. That's a red-bellied woodpecker. All of these were taken in New York in Central Park. Most of them. My book. There's my calendar. Almost done. That's the Mandarin duck, the very famous Mandarin duck that I named Manny the Mandarin. It was on the news with the Mandarin duck. It's from China and not supposed to be in Central Park. I think you get the picture. I hope you enjoyed that. I did see that Sugar Bay was kind enough to put the link. You guys can go check it out on my Instagram page. Thank you very much. I always talk about my bird pics. I think people think I'm lying. I love to bring receipts. In fact, a lot of people said I was lying today when I said I do the astroscope. It's Virgo. Virgo. Something is holding you back and stopping you from reaching your true potential. The planets indicate it has nothing to do with your rivals in the outside world and everything to do with your own inner doubts. You need to believe that you got what it takes. I believe in you. I believe in you. Remember when you were little, you used to go, you drive me crazy. I'm just going to let the wheel of deal spin. Look at this spin. It's just going to drop where it's dropped. I think Sagittarius. I don't know. I got something blocking my view right now from the camera. It is, oh boy. Scorpio or Libra. I'm going to do them both. It's right on the line. Scorpio. Me. You have a very shitty channel. No one likes it. Only 41 people showed up today, and that's because they get real tired of your news. You're not funny, you're unattractive, and it's just a pretty crappy show altogether. Why don't you get a real job and leave the YouTubing to some of the good ones? First of all, that hurts that they would put that in there. I didn't do it. Why would you? You will be offered what you most desire today. Yes! I know what that is. What is it? I don't think they're going to have the same idea of what I desire today. But you will be offered what you most desire today, but will you be willing to pay the price? I don't do hookers. I haven't done hookers for weeks. No. I'm putting my foot down with hookers, male or female. No. You will be offered what you most desire today, but will you be willing to pay the price? The universe is not about to give you something for nothing. So decide what you can afford and cut your cloth accordingly. Maybe you shouldn't be aiming so high. So what, $30? I don't know. I don't know the price. Pretty gross. To be honest, I'm very disappointed with Sally Brompton from the Daily Horoscope. Very disappointed. I was supposed to do Libra. Libra, it was a tie. I hope Libras is better than my Scorpio. They've got me condoning prostitution on here. I'm not going to do it. No. Libra. Keep your long-term goals in mind at all times today, because if you allow your attention to wander for even a minute or two, you could forget what it is you are after and neglect to make those all-important first moves stay switched on. Last one. We're doing the last one. I'm going to say Gemini, and I think Gemini is green. That's what I'm seeing in my head. I could be 100% wrong. I usually am. It's Pisces. I was wrong. I was wrong. What was it? Pisces? I don't know. I want to do Pisces. Stand back from what you are working on for an hour or two. It's true that you have been making rapid progress, but it's also true that you have veered a little bit off course. Correct that now, and you may end up somewhere you didn't want to go. I am going to do something I don't do very often. I am going to do the famous birthdays today because I brought my second phone with me. And we're going to see if there's any famous birthdays today. Famous birthdays. What's today's date? It's the 12th? April 12th. So I'm going to say 4/12. Here we go. These are going to be famous people's birthdays. Because famous people are better than us. Didn't you know that? Birthdays was the worst days. Now we drink champagne when we thirsty. Tiny Tim. What do you know about Tiny Tim? Well, Tiny Tim had one of the biggest TV show moments ever when he got married on air. I'm trying to remember the damn girl he married. Vicky Budinger on December 17th, 1969. Anyways, Tiny Tim had a song. First of all, he played a ukulele. Second of all, he made his voice, and he had a song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, which is almost unlistenable to me, but it was like a huge hit. Tiptoe through the tulips. Anyways, he was performing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. He performed it for 50 years or so. He died on stage performing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. That's a fact. Born Herbert Carey, he was a ukulele-playing falsetto singer and musical activist, best known for his rendition of Tiptoe Through the Tulips. He played under the name Tiny Tim after being booked at a club that loved shorter performers. He was not short. Tiny Tim passed away, died on stage. How crazy is that? Pistol Pete Maravich is not on this list today, but he also was one of the greatest basketball players, certainly one of the greatest college basketball players. He died on the court. Ed O'Neill. You guys may know Ed O'Neill from Married with Children. Ed O'Neill today is 78 years young. God bless you, Ed O'Neill. Beverly Cleary. Why do I know that name? She was an author. And she did the Laura Ingalls Award. I don't know it. I'm sorry. Claire Danes. Claire Danes, a great little actor. I apologize. Sounds sexist. Shannon Doherty, the first Batgirl of television. She was on 90210, one of the most hated cast members of all time. I haven't heard much from her in a long time. She's 53 now. I hope that what was her damn name on that show? Not Donna. Brenda. That's who she was. Brenda Walsh. Okay. Met him several times. Very quirky, strange, but hilarious person. Some of you might not know who that is. It's not Rip Van Winkle. It's David Letterman. David Letterman, I've been on his show probably 10 times. And they had a rule on his show. Cannot make any outbursts or you're kicked out. They have pages. A page is a young person in a little blue shirt with a tie and there to stand in the aisle and look for trouble. Dave was very, very, very quirky and controlled his set with an iron fist. And you could not yell out, "Yeah, you're the man, Dave!" You get kicked out. So I have a thing that I had done for years. I'm on the Heart album, the rock group Heart, on their album, yelling Bob Bowen. So I wanted to yell Bob Bowen. I've yelled Bob Bowen at Jay Leno, at Conan O'Brien, at Montel Williams, at Joan Rivers, any TV show, I was yelling Bob Bowen. When the audience, you have to do it right. So Dave Letterman is interviewing, let's say, Burt Reynolds. He can't say, you can't jump up, "I love you, Burt," you're kicked out. You have to wait until Dave Letterman goes, "Hey, guys, we'll be right back after this commercial." Everybody starts clapping. You have to go, "Bob Bowen!" You can't open your mouth to, "Bob Bowen!" Because they're looking. If you do this, Bob, they caught you. So as soon as they start clapping, you yell Bob Bowen. I used to go home and record it. I have recordings of me on Conan, Letterman. I've been on a bunch of those shows. There's other shows that you can go on. If you want to go on something like Donahue, you can get up and talk. But you're not going to get up and say, "Hi, thank you, Phil. I just wanted to say to the guy on the end, I'm Bob Bowen." Can't do that. But the Bob Bowen thing is my invention. I used it many, many times and never got kicked out. One time I got shushed at Letterman. They're very, 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 he runs that show with a iron fist. Tom Clancy, the novelist, I don't care. Andy Garcia, great actor, met him many times at Planet Hollywood, super nice guy. Vince Gill, he's a little bit country. Anybody know any of Vince Gill's songs? He's got one called "When I Call Your Name" and another one called "Look at Us." I don't know any of them. I will tell you this much. I really, really, really love Beyonce's new album. This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold'em. We go row, 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 row. Get our cars up. I love it. I don't care. I don't care what nobody says. I like her Jolene cover, which is very good. A much different Jolene than Dolly Parton. In her Jolene, Dolly Parton is begging, "Jolene, Jolene, 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 please don't go and take away my man. I'm begging you, please don't take my man." Beyonce's like, "Jolene, Jolene, 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 you don't want no smoke. Don't take my man. Don't holler at him, don't look at him, don't say nothing, I'll catch you outside." Everybody knows Beyonce carries Vaseline in her purse. When you see a girl getting ready to fight and she takes off the earrings and start putting Vaseline on her face, you better get your ass out of there. You don't want that smoke. That's all for the birthdays. We'll do the death days now. Again, yesterday OJ Simpson passed away, and I send my condolences to his kids and to his mother, who's passed long ago. Any fans or friends from around the world. Deaths. And then I got to get out of here. I got some banking to do. I got an event to do. I got to go home and take a shower. Here we go. Famous deaths on this date. We do not celebrate death except for one day a year. I do celebrate Hitler's death. I get a cake and I go to McDonald's. Hitler died on, I don't know when. He was born on 420. All the kids get high on 420. Hitler was born on 420. How do I know? Because my friend Nina was also born on 420. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, a lot of you think his name was Delano Roosevelt. It's Delano. I don't know what kind of middle name that is, but the 32nd President of the United States, he greatly impacted world events during the Great Depression and served as unprecedented 4 terms. You're only supposed to get 2. He was greedy. He got 4. He served as the editor-in-chief of the Harvard Crimson Daily newspaper after graduating from Harvard. And then he graduated from Harvard and then went to Columbia for law school. He developed polio as a young adult, and worked hard to conceal the severity. Now remember, guys, back then you had like 2 channels, and they would always show him from here. He's our president, how you doing? And then they'd leave, and they had their big-ass old wooden wheelchairs, so they covered it as best they could. Shout out to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This guy was actually, I think I've told the story, in my home once. This is Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried was out here in Hell's Kitchen all the time. He was a very strange man, but he was also funny. Not one sentence would go by where he wouldn't just do something. What are you crazy over here? He was also the Aflac Duck. Aflac made millions being the Aflac Duck, and then the tsunami, the horrible tsunami, he made jokes about the tsunami, and Aflac fired his ass. But Gilbert Gottfried died a couple years ago, leaving behind a child. I actually liked Gilbert very much. One of the greatest of all times. This guy gets overlooked because of the shadow of his brother. His brother cast one of the biggest shadows in the history of entertainment, and for this guy to carve out his own niche is almost a miracle and unheard of. It's Charlie Murphy. Many people, including Eddie, would say that he's funnier than Eddie. The difference was they're both from Roosevelt, Long Island. These are some hardcore street kids. Eddie, don't think Eddie's just Eddie will beat your ass in the parking lot. But Eddie got all his grind from his brother. Charlie Murphy was a gangster, but he was also absolutely hilarious. He didn't do all those voices and the dancing and all the stuff, but man, he was funny. And if you've seen him on Dave Chappelle, you know Eddie Murphy has said many times that Charlie was the funniest man on the planet, and I have to agree, he was hilarious. Charlie did die of cancer a couple years ago. Best known for being a contributing writing member of Dave Chappelle Show. Absolutely hysterical. I believe he was in a group called K9. It's a rap group back in the early days. He also he first appeared, his very first film was in Harlem Nights, but he landed a very big major role as the bad guy in CB4 with Chris Rock, which phenomenal. And it says here, he is the voice of Big Kid on the animated show Thugaboo. I don't even know what the hell that is. I ain't got kids. If Bria's kids don't watch it, I don't know about it. One of the greatest boxers of all time, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson, I gotta tell you, his record, when you think of fighters, Mike Tyson is 53-5. This one's 65. Record, he fought, someone like Larry Holmes fought 49, and he was 49-1. Sugar Ray Robinson was 173 wins. 173 wins, 19 losses, and 6 draws. What an absolute gangster. In his amateur career, he was 85-0. 85-0. That's crazy. We've had some really good ones. So look, so Sugar Ray Robinson, considered one of the greatest all-around fighters of all time, and considered one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, died on the same day. Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Joe Louis was an absolute gangster in that ring. He was 66-3 for his record, and he held the championship from 1937 through 1949, all the way through World War II. He won 25 of his title defenses during his career, setting a long-standing record. Absolutely a war hero to boot. I'm not going to do that. One of the funniest men in the history of the world. Some of you young people won't know, but if you think of someone like Robin Williams, who everybody said was absolutely hilarious, or George Carlin, or some of those guys, and you ask them, even Richard Pryor, who is one of the funniest influences of all time? Jonathan Winters. Jonathan Winters was the original Robin Williams. Just every single word was unbelievable. He was a Scorpio, by the way. Legendary comedian who had a record released every decade for 50 years. This guy released a record every year. Remember back in the days, guys, when I was growing up, there was no TV specials or anything. You wanted to hear Bill Cosby or Richard Pryor records, they had records. It was comedy records. You could hear them. Legendary comedian who had a record release every decade for over 50 years, received 11 Grammy nominations for Best Comedy Album. Also voiced Grandpa Smurf on the popular 1980s TV show. Saint Therese. Saint Teresa was my mother's patron saint. I have when my mother died, I was left a portrait of Saint Teresa. To become a saint, you have to have done 3 miracles. None of the declared Carmelite order. Well known for her work with the chronically ill, as well as with children. She was canonized as Saint Teresa of the Andes in 1993. She is the one my mother patterned her life after, and my mother had her photos hanging above her chair, and my mother was a member of the Carmelites. My mother was a very devout Christian. I'm just going to keep it moving. David Guest, oh boy, I didn't even know he passed away. David Guest was the husband, the straight husband of Liza Minnelli. American media personality, best known for his relationship with the Jackson family and for his tumultuous marriage to Liza Minnelli. He died of a stroke in 2016. I did not even know he had passed. I don't. Abby Hoffman, tune in, tune out. He was the original hippie guy, the acid-taking guy. You see him at Woodstock everywhere. His famous line, he was part of the Radical Seven, the group that was arrested in Chicago at the Democratic Convention. Tune in, tune out, drop out. I can't remember his thing. I'm looking for it here. Organize a movement. Okay, well, Abby Hoffman, one of those guys. Long one today. There was a lot of winners on this one. Sometimes I don't recognize any names. They're all YouTubers. Today there was a whole bunch of names. I think we've come to the end of the road. It's a natural flow. You belong to me. I belong to you. Oh, it's the end of the road. Somewhere right now, Boys II Men are killing themselves. I just butchered their classic. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank Rev, who has such a lot on his plate. Rev, we've got at least 5 packages that need to go out. I'll call you later and we'll get all the information together. Guys, we were giving out beautiful necklaces and the Jesus pieces, the little head of Jesus. I picked 5 people off my YouTube and several others off of my Instagram. I will announce the winners next time I do the news. I want to thank you for tuning in. I ask you all, please be kind and loving to each other. Be good to yourself because you deserve it. And if no one today has told you special, I will go out on a limb and say, Rev, you are special. Now, you're not as special as John the Marine. We all know that. I think we would all agree. Rev's okay, but nowhere near a John the Marine. It says right in the name. He's a Marine. John the Marine. And Tapachaw. I hope I said Tapachaw right. I heard Tapachaw is actually better than John the Marine, which I don't understand why there's even a contest going on. Now, all of you are pieces of crap compared to Sugar Bay. We get that. That's just part of when you sign up for the show, you know that the only one on the top of the heap is Karina. Everybody below Karina, even Sugar Bay, is crap. Now, I didn't write the rules. I didn't make this up. This is just how the hierarchy of the channel. All right, I'm just being a jerk. I like to stir up some shit. Now, Stephanie H. is sitting there quiet and nice and being so kind and loving. Stephanie H., you won the Kind and Loving Person of the Day award. Thank you. Liberal Lily, you already know how much I love you. Steve, what's poppin'? How are you? Everybody, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to Taco Bell. I don't really need to do to the next table knowing that I'm going to Taco Bell. Have a great day. I love you all very much. I appreciate you very much. And I will talk to you again soon. God bless you and thank you. Boom.